I thought my marriage was perfect, until I discovered my husband's affair with my friend's sister. Now, I'm plotting my escape. My husband, 32M, and I, 37F, have been together for 6 years and married for 2. I have 2 kids who he lovingly took into his care, and he even adopted them. Everything was great between us, or so I thought. I definitely loved him and felt he loved me too. I really didn't see any problems. We do have sex regularly, so it's not like he's been deprived. I think the worst part, honestly, is that I know who he slept with. Twice. And has been sexting for the past month. Basically, I came upon his messages with her on his laptop. He was out at a dinner with friends, and I just was simply gonna look and see if this text I unsent to a group chat he's in with me was actually removed and he couldn't see it. As soon as I log into his laptop, there it is. I see his Instagram DMs with her. The woman is one of my closest friend's sister. I've known her for over 15 years now. We've never been close, and I've honestly never really liked her. At all. And she definitely doesn't like me either. BC, it showed in these messages. She followed him first, and he followed her back. She messaged him first, and he messaged her back. This all happened after they already slept together as he was on a work trip, and they just ran into each other by surprise. I was sick when I saw these messages. It was all sexual. She constantly put me down in her messages, comparing herself to me and asking if she's better. I found it really sad, TBH. And then they started talking about sending pictures, and she told him to download Signal. So of course I went looking through his computer to find it. And I did. It was even worse. She sent nudes of herself and told him to jerk off to them. He sent her dick pics after she asked. It was like he was a little puppy just following every one of her commands. But the thing that I found most disrespectful and disgusting is that she sent a pic of herself and told him to have sex with me while imagining her. Which he said, "I'll try." And the second time they slept together was when she was in town to visit her sister, my friend, and she told him she'd save some time for him. They met at a hotel she chose, and I'm so oblivious as I literally had no clue. Apparently, she was on top BC. She messaged him, "Am I better than my name on top?" It's disgusting. It was then he ended it. Only then. She begged and begged him to not leave her and continue their affair. She even threw out that I was cheating on him with my coworker, which is so not true. She was very desperate. She'd message him 30 times if he didn't respond right away. And he indulged her, apologizing to her BC he was with me or our kids. I mean, this is all beyond just cheating. This is a full-on betrayal. He let her go on and on trash-talking me while sending nudes, and he'd send some in return. I am livid. I'm just stuck on what to do now. I don't know how the divorce will go. I don't know how custody will go. I don't think I can stay with him. I'm sure he regrets it, but I don't care. He sent many times in his messages that he shouldn't and that he's married. But he did every time. I should have known something was off when one night he just broke down sobbing in front of me. He wouldn't tell me what was wrong, and I comforted him. I'm sure it was this. I haven't confronted him about this yet. I will. I'm busting figuring out how to do it, so I'm not yelling at him. I only found out last night, and I haven't seen him today since he left early to play golf. I was disgusted to sleep in the same bed as him last night. I just don't even recognize him. I'm so hurt by this. Who did I marry? My husband that I've been with for 6 years cheated on me twice and sexted with my friend's sister. I don't know how to carry on from here. Update 1. I appreciate everyone who replied to my original post. You helped me more than you know. I've just fallen into a deep depression. I'm still processing this. I did call a friend of mine who's a lawyer and asked her what the hell do I do. I took photos of all the chats and pics right after I found them. It was on an app that deletes it, so I only got that day of messaging the day I found it. I took photos of the Insta DMs too. My lawyer friend gave me the contact info of a divorce lawyer she knows. About custody, she said that I won't be automatically given sole custody, and the court might rule shared custody, since he's been in the kids' lives and caring for them for over a year. I also am thinking about what's best for the kids, not me. They love him so much and he is good to them. I don't want to take that away from them because of our issues. It does suck because I do have a looming feeling that if it came down to it, they'd choose him over me. They admire him so much. I did pretend nothing was wrong when he came back home. It helps when you take Valium. Eventually, he did notice the fact that I wasn't talking to him and avoiding him. So I did confront him. I told him I knew about everything and I tried to keep my cool, but I did yell at him a lot. I couldn't help it. He was silent throughout it all and I could see the guilt on his face. He looked terrible. I told him that not only was it disrespectful to cheat on me, but to also egg on this woman as she says horrible stuff about me. I asked him why over and over, but he just couldn't come up with an answer. Which makes this harder. All he could do was apologize and beg me not to leave him. He said that this was the only time and he was weak. That he loves me and not her. It was so hard, and I didn't know what to do, so I just left and stayed the night at a friend's. I haven't spoken to him since, but we do see each other every day since we do still live in the same house. It's awkward and silent to say the least. I mostly just avoid him. I talked to my friends, and one of them suggested couples counseling since I do have a little bit of love for him. Hate myself for it. And the other just said to leave his ass. I did also tell my one friend that it was her sister who he cheated with, and she felt horrible. It's not her fault, but she kept apologizing, and I feel horrible that she feels this way. I did also get a STD test. Thank you so much. That wasn't even on my mind. And luckily came back negative. I made him get one too, which also came back negative. I am almost 100% positive they didn't use protection because he has a vasectomy, so he wouldn't have to use protection. I had in mind that he would only be having sex with me, not anyone else. As nice as it would be to get help and move past this and build our relationship, I can't. I can't look at him. I can't stand him. All I see of him with her, and it disgusts me. He's been sleeping on the couch in the basement, so I don't have to sleep with him because I can't. It would take too much work that I'm not willingly to give to fix this. If we're already at the point where I can't touch him, be around him, or even look at him, I think it's best to just have us find other people. It does suck because I never thought I'd ever get married, and I took a chance with him, with hope he'd be the one. I even moved from my home and favorite place in the world to be closer to where he works. Didn't that just come back and hit me in the face? Thanks again for all your help. I've decided to leave him after a lot of thinking. I talked to a lawyer about divorce and custody. I took a STD test and came back negative. I confronted him. Update 2. First off, I want to thank everyone who commented and sent messages after my last update. The outpouring of support and advice has been overwhelming, and honestly, it's been a lifeline. This whole situation feels like a bad dream I can't wake up from, but knowing I'm not alone has made it a tiny bit easier to bear. So, a lot has happened since my last update. After I made the decision to leave, I started looking into what that actually meant. I've been staying with my friend, the one who suggested counseling, and trying to figure out what the next steps are. The lawyer I spoke to was really helpful, but it's clear that this is going to be a long, messy process. I'm terrified of what this will do to my kids. They've been asking why I'm not home, and I've been lying, saying I'm just helping my friend with something. I hate lying to them, but I'm not ready to tell them the truth yet. When I went back to the house to get some of my things, my husband was there. He looked awful, like he hadn't slept or eaten in days. We ended up having another long talk, and he begged me to reconsider. He was crying, saying he'd do anything to fix this, that he couldn't imagine his life without me and the kids. It was hard to hear because, as much as I hate what he did, I can see he's genuinely remorseful. But it's too late for that. I told him I'm moving forward with the divorce and that I think it's best if we start figuring out the logistics of separating our lives. I did something I never thought I'd do. I reached out to the sister, the one he cheated with. I know, it sounds crazy, but I just needed answers. I needed to understand why she would do this to me. We met up at a coffee shop, and it was honestly one of the most surreal experiences of my life. She was defensive at first, trying to act like it wasn't a big deal. But when I started to get emotional, she finally broke down. She admitted that she's always been jealous of me, of my life, my marriage, even my kids. She said she didn't think it would go as far as it did, that she thought it was just a fling, something that wouldn't matter in the long run. But when she saw how much my husband was pulling away from her, she panicked and started saying and doing whatever she could to keep him interested. It was pathetic, honestly. I left that meeting feeling more disgusted than ever, but also oddly vindicated. At least now I know it wasn't something I did wrong. It was all about her insecurities and my husband's weakness. I also had a hard conversation with my kids. I didn't tell them everything, just that mommy and daddy need some time apart and that they'll still see both of us. They cried and it broke my heart, but I know it's the right thing to do. They deserve better than to be in a house full of tension and secrets. In a twist I didn't see coming, my husband's parents reached out to me. They've always been really sweet and supportive, and I guess he told them what's been going on. They invited me over to talk, and I went, mostly because I didn't want to seem rude, but also because I was curious about what they had to say. They were both devastated and kept apologizing on his behalf, saying they raised him better than this, and that they don't understand how he could do something so stupid. His mom even cried, which almost made me lose it too. They begged me to give him another chance, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that he's been completely broken up about this. I get where they're coming from, but I just don't think I can do it. I told them I'm moving forward with the divorce, and they seemed to accept it, even if they were clearly disappointed. The weirdest part of all of this? My friend, the one whose sister cheated with my husband, has been avoiding me. At first, I thought it was just because she felt guilty, but now I'm starting to think there's more to it. We were really close before all of this, and I would have expected her to be more supportive, but she's been distant and cold. I don't know if she's blaming me for what happened or if there's something else going on, but it's just another layer of this whole mess that I wasn't prepared for. I'm still in the process of moving out of the house. It's been slow, partly because I've been procrastinating, but also because it's just so painful to pack up my life like this. Every time I go back there, it's like a dagger to the heart. I see the life we built together, the home we made for our kids, and I just can't believe it's all falling apart because of one stupid, selfish mistake. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm trying to stay strong for my kids. I've started seeing a therapist, which has been really helpful. She's helping me process everything and figure out what I want for myself going forward. I know I'm making the right decision, even though it hurts like hell. Thanks again for all the support. I'll keep you posted as things move forward. Update 3. Hey everyone, it's been a little while since my last update, and I just wanted to check in. I never imagined I'd be one of those people posting multiple updates about their messy life, but here we are. Your support has been incredible, and I genuinely can't thank you enough. This community has given me strength when I've needed it most. So, where do I even begin? The divorce process is officially underway. My lawyer has been amazing, and she's really helped me feel like I have some control in all of this. We've filed the papers, and now we're just waiting on his response. He's still been trying to get me to change my mind, but I've been firm. I can't go back after everything that's happened. There's no trust left. And without that, there's no marriage. The kids are still struggling, and that's been the hardest part. My son, in particular, keeps asking if Daddy is going to come back home. It's heartbreaking, and I hate that they're caught in the middle of this. I've started taking them to a child therapist to help them process everything, and I think it's going to be good for them. They need someone to talk to who isn't directly involved in all of this. Now, here's where things get really crazy. Remember how I mentioned that my friend, the one whose sister was involved, had been acting weird and distant? Well, it turns out there was a reason for that. I found out through a mutual friend that she knew about the affair the whole time. Apparently, her sister confided in her after the first time it happened, and she never said a word to me. Not once. I was absolutely floored when I found out. I confronted her about it, and she tried to play it off like she was just trying to protect me, that she didn't want to hurt me. But that's bullshit. If she really cared about me, she would have told me the truth. I could have dealt with this so much sooner, maybe even salvaged something before it got so out of hand. I feel so betrayed by her. She was supposed to be one of my closest friends, and she just let me live in the dark while her sister and my husband made a fool out of me. Needless to say, that friendship is over. I've cut her out of my life completely. It's like I'm losing people left and right. But at this point, I'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who would betray me like that. The only silver lining in all of this is that I've reconnected with some old friends I'd lost touch with over the years. They've been so supportive, and it's reminded me that I do have people in my life who care about me. It's been good to have those connections again, and it's helped me feel a little less alone. As for my husband, he's been a mess. I almost feel bad for him, which makes me so angry because he did this to himself. He's been staying with his parents, and from what I've heard, he's been pretty much falling apart. He's been trying to get me to agree to mediation instead of going through the courts, saying that we can work this out amicably for the kids' sake. But I don't trust him anymore, and I don't see how we can do this without legal oversight. I need to protect myself and my kids, and that means doing this by the book. I'm also dealing with the fallout from our extended families. My side has been incredibly supportive, which I'm grateful for. But his side? Not so much. His mom has been guilt-tripping me, saying that I'm tearing the family apart and that I should forgive him. She's even gone as far as to say that I'm being selfish, that I'm not thinking about the kids. It's infuriating. I've always had a good relationship with his family, but this has really shown me where their loyalties lie. I'm done trying to explain myself to them. I'm focusing on what's best for me and my kids, and if they can't understand that, then that's their problem. I wish I had some kind of positive resolution to share, but the truth is, this is all still really hard. I'm taking it one